Hello beautiful ones, hello elegant mamas. I am so excited for this video because I am going to be sharing with you the things that I'm going to be doing differently for baby number 2, or that I'm currently planning to do differently, because sometimes those things change. I'm trying to make sure that I manage my expectations well with this second pregnancy. I think the hardest thing so far for me has been that I am comparing everything, it feels like, to my first pregnancy and thinking about my daughter when she was a baby and a newborn, and I have to really manage my expectations with that. So that will be something to keep in mind as I share this video. If you are new here, my name is Leisha, and typically I share content that is documenting my personal leveling up journey. I have been sharing that here on YouTube since 2020, and now I am focusing a lot on motherhood with elegance and managing my time more efficiently, bringing a lot of just everyday elegance into the simple things as much as possible, and still managing to level up my life. I am a wife of almost 7 years this year, which is hard to believe, but it is true. And we are really excited about our growing family. So I wanted to make sure that I created some videos like this documenting my motherhood journey for you, because it's something I've seen a lot of ladies coming to my channel for. So if you would like to see more of that, please subscribe. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, because I'm still gauging how much interest I get on sharing topics like this and sharing my experience leveling up through motherhood with you. Now, before I start sharing my things with you that I'm doing differently, I do want to say as a disclaimer that everyone's journey in motherhood is different and everyone's circumstances are so different. I found it really nice to just take in a lot of other women's experiences through YouTube videos like this with my first pregnancy. And, you know, it just helped me a lot as far as getting ideas and thinking through different things that I wanted to do. But I always take what someone else is saying, and I think through what is their life circumstance or context. And then I think through how do I want to make that work for me, or will that even work for me? And of course, listen to your providers, your care providers, your midwife, your OB, your pediatrician, and all of that, because they are ultimately the experts. I'm also not going through every single little topic of things that I am going to be doing differently. These are, though, the top things that I have already in my mind that I know I will be doing differently or making a strong effort to do differently, because they really stick out and I think they're the most important things. Of course, there are going to be some different areas that I'm going to be exploring further later, but at the end I'll share some things I'm not sure about and I'm thinking through. So the first thing that I am going to be doing differently is I will not be having a baby shower for baby number 2. What I'm doing instead is I plan on having a sip and see. So I want to do that in conjunction with my daughter's 2nd birthday, because baby number 2 will be born in the same month. And we also have the holidays around that time with my family all being out of town. When they come to town, I usually just try and go and make it a big event. I don't want to put in a ton of effort, so I do plan on having my mom help me a lot with arranging these events, but they will be pretty low key. I'm not going to do a huge overly planned event, and I don't even think I will have it in my home. We will probably have it at our country club in one of their spaces, so that way it is out of my space with a newborn and the chaos does not come into my home as much, or that's what I think I'm going to do right now. And a sip and see is just kind of where everyone can meet the baby. I'm going to invite people to bring diapers and wipes and some of those baby essentials if they would like, but there's no gifts really required. We pretty much have everything that we need for baby number 2, and anything that someone wants to bring and give as a gift is just something that'll be extra. So I think that it'll be a really good way to combine everything together and not have to break up so many different events and just have all the bases covered. The second thing that I'm going to be doing differently relates to the feeding and sleep schedule and how we tracked that with my firstborn. So we used the Huckleberry app very heavily with our firstborn, and that was how we tracked her feeding schedule. I even tracked my breastfeeding and pumping schedules with that, and her sleep schedule was the biggest reason why we ended up using that app. And it helped me so much as a new mom just to be able to understand the order and the duration of the different aspects of a newborn schedule. But what ended up happening to me, because I do like to plan, and in the beginning I was just really set and fixed on figuring out a schedule. And what happened to me was that I think it went on for way too long, to the point where our daughter was sleeping through the night on her own, but we didn't know it because we were just going by that Huckleberry app for so long, and her needs were changing from the recommendations on there. And so we had her for 9 months sleeping in our room, and the way that we found out she was able to sleep through the night was when we went on an anniversary trip and we had her sleep in a separate room from us, and she never woke up. And we just could not believe it. We were in shock because we had been going by her schedule that we were tracking in Huckleberry app for so long. And I'm looking back and realizing I think that she would have been sleeping through the night at 6 months if we paid more attention to her cries and why she was waking up in the middle of the night. And if we had maybe tried to do a few things differently, like move her to her room sooner. So that is something I will not be doing. I will not be relying on that app so heavily. I do like it for the beginning days where you're trying to figure out a newborn's rhythm a little bit. And I know that baby number 2 will likely be very different from baby number 1. And so I think it will help me in the very beginning just to observe a little bit more. But I want to focus a lot on observing naturally this baby's cues and this baby's cries. And I read a book called Bringing Up Bebe, which is a great book. It's about an American mom who is an expatriate living in Paris, France, and she has all of these observations of French parents and the way that they do parenting. And one of the things that she talks about in that book is how in French culture it is pretty much a standard that the babies are sleeping through the night at 3 months old. And the reason for this, she says in the book, is due to the way that the parents are focused on observing their baby a lot more intently in the beginning. Whereas for me with my firstborn, I was so focused intently on getting that schedule and figuring out how to get her to sleep longer and going by the app, where I was not paying attention to her natural cries and cues and not really learning what does this cry mean and what does that cry mean. I got it figured out by the time she was a lot older, and certainly by now I kind of know when she's upset, why she's upset. But I want to really work on that as a second-time mom and not rely on this app so much. But it is a great app. I do recommend it if you have a newborn, and especially if you're a first-time mom. Just some things to keep in mind there. So this third thing that I really want to try this time around, and I had thought about it before, but I was planning on being a work in the office mom with my firstborn, and now I am working at home. So I want to really focus on trying cloth diapering. I want to make a real effort with cloth diapering this time. My husband does not know that, but I'm going to hopefully work on getting him used to the idea of cloth diapering, at least partially in the beginning, so that we can, for number 1, I want to save on diapers. I'm not sure if my toddler is going to be potty trained. I'm hoping she will be by the time we have baby number 2, but if she's not ready, I'm not going to force it. And so there's a chance that she will still be in diapers when this baby arrives, and I want to cut down some on the cost associated with the disposable diapers. Plus, there's a lot of waste associated with disposable diapers as well. So I am hoping for that as a reason. Also, I had so many blowouts with the regular disposable diapers with my newborn, and up until, gosh, she even had a blowout on her first flight at 13 months old when we took her to Orlando. And I don't think I want to deal with that. I've heard cloth diapers are amazing for preventing blowouts. If you have experience with cloth diapering, leave me a comment below and tell me what you thought about it, because it does seem like it will take a little bit of adjustment as far as the routine goes, but I want to save myself from having to clean so many clothes. I even had, it seems like almost every time I put her in the car seat, she had a blowout, and I would have to go change her, take out all of the pieces of the car seat and replace them with the other pieces and wash those, and I would be late because of blowouts. And so I don't want to deal with those if I can avoid it by cloth diapering. So we're just gonna see. I'm still gonna be talking that over with my husband. Maybe I should put that in the category of things I'm not sure about yet, but I'm sure about it. I just need to get my husband to be sure about it, because he is very involved with the childcare. So I wanna make sure that it's something he feels comfortable with doing too. The fourth and very important thing that I want to do for myself is start seeing a pelvic floor therapist. I did not do this with my first, although I didn't have major issues in that area, in that topic, but I do notice some things, some signs that things are probably not optimal with that area of my body. And I also did have some diastasis recti. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I did heal that right before I became pregnant the second time. I just think I could have that healed a lot quicker by seeing a pelvic floor therapist after birth, maybe even before birth. I've seen some that will work with you prenatally as well. So I think that will give me just a big leg up on healing and making sure that my body is in optimal strength and condition in that area. I don't want to have some of the issues that can come later in life if I don't tend to that sooner. So that is something I will be doing, and I am really, it's going to be a little awkward, but I am looking forward to having that area taken care of a little bit better. It's a shame to me that that is not something that is really a standard of care here in the US, that you get automatically a pelvic floor therapist with this whole process of prenatal, postpartum, and just all of that care that's associated, because it's so common. And I think that, you know, even for younger women, if you have multiple children, it can just kind of progress even more. And it's just not a standard thing. I didn't even really learn and look into it that much until I was first pregnant and kind of started noticing some things that were different this time around down there. So yeah, I highly encourage you to look into it. I found a really great one here locally, so I'm hoping to get that all set up. Last but not least, on things that I will be doing differently is that I will be starting the spinning babies exercises a lot sooner than I did with my first. If you have not heard of spinning babies, essentially it's a really great, I don't know if I would say program, but protocol, I guess, for positions that you hold in order to keep your baby in an optimal position for birth. And the reason why I mention this is because probably the biggest piece of my birth story, which I have not shared publicly here, but the biggest detail of that is that my baby was sunny side up, and this gave me awful, terrible back labor. And so, like, to the point where my body was giving out and I was stalling out during the labor process because my body just needed to rest. And so what the nurses had me doing in the hospital were all of these different spinning babies positions that I realized I should have been doing a lot sooner. I didn't know that she was sunny side up going into it, but you know, that is just something that they recommended to me. My midwife went ahead and told me, you should start doing these a lot sooner this time if you already had a baby that was sunny side up, so that way it's a lot less, it's supposed to make pain a lot less during your labor process. So I will be doing that a lot sooner. I haven't decided yet. I am currently 23 weeks, and so I haven't decided yet exactly when I will start focusing on these. I already do things like sit on my yoga ball while I am typing here at the computer, and I like to do yoga. I'm exercising weekly on a regular basis, but I will be focusing on these positions and getting them done regularly with the hopes that my baby will be optimally positioned for this birth. Spinning babies is also a protocol that they use for breech as well. So if you have a breech baby, they might tell you to look at spinning babies. There's a wonderful website with all the exercises, and you can find lots of videos here on YouTube as well. Now I'm gonna wrap this video up, but there's a couple of things that I am considering and I'm not 100% sure about yet. So maybe later I'll do an update video after, just talking about the things that ended up transpiring. But the first one is that I am on the fence about hiring a doula. And there are different types of doulas. I don't know that I'm leaning towards a birth doula, but I'm leaning more towards the postpartum doula, mostly because I do have the toddler and I don't have family close by that lives near me to help out with a lot of things. And so I want to really look into that. I'm not 100% sure about it because of costs associated, but also my mother, we do plan on having her come stay with a much longer period of time this time. So I'm hoping that will work out well and we can get that all planned out. But I would love to have the expertise of a doula just for also the healing aspects, but keeping our household sort of going and manageable while I recover from the birth. So stay tuned. I'm thinking about that. I would have loved to have had a birth doula the first time because I am leaning towards trying an unmedicated birth again. That was what I was trying for with the first birth. But this one, I'm really hoping that it will be an unmedicated birth. I'm hoping we won't have sunny side up baby and I will be able to manage that labor pain more. But a doula can really help with that. I know I looked at them with the first pregnancy. We just decided it wasn't really within our budget. It's not covered by insurance and all of that. So thinking about that, we'll see what happens. The other thing I'm considering, but we are not 100% set on yet, is enrolling my toddler in the local Spanish immersion school. That's something that I have dreamed about for quite a while, and ours does go from, I think, 12 months or 13 months up until age 5, I believe. The issue I'm having is that I really need the afternoon hours, and for her age, they don't have the program set up for afternoon. It's all morning for toddlers. Right now, we have our kids club through the country club, which is included in our membership, and so my husband's able to go to practice golf and then go get his workout in while she goes to kids club in the morning for up to 4 hours. So it works really nicely with his work schedule, and it works nicely for me with my schedule. I would be able to still have my attention focused on the newborn during those times when she's in kids club in the mornings, but the afternoons is where I'm going to struggle, I think, and that's when it's usually the most difficult to care for a newborn, is in that afternoon and then the early evening witching hour. So we'll see. I am thinking through that a little bit and still kind of trying to figure out what are some afternoon activities that we can create in our home for her to feel special, feel occupied. How can we have her help with the baby? Things like that. That is probably the biggest thing. And I'm talking to my therapist about that as well, so that I make sure my mental health is taken care of too, having to adjust to 2 children in the home. So that is everything that I had to share in this video. This is, again, a different type of video. I'm going to be sharing more content like this so that I'm documenting this journey as well on my channel. I would love to have you join me for that. So please subscribe, leave me a comment below introducing yourself if you're expecting. Let me know when you're due if you would like to, any other questions you have or tips. I love to hear from the well-seasoned moms as well. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.